agents and police. The infamous 58-year-old socialite was placed in nearby Merrimack County Jail. She's expected to soon be transferred to New York before she arrives in court later this week. Cops in Louisville, Kentucky may soon be required to submit to a drug test if they become violent during a critical incident. In a first-of-its-kind proposal in the department, the Louisville Metro Council is pushing through an ordinance that will require police officers to submit to a drug and alcohol test if they shoot or hurt someone. The Free Thought Project reports that Democratic 6th District Council President David James is co-sponsoring the legislation, along with Councilwoman Barbara Sexton Smith, a Democrat from the 4th District. They point out how drugs and alcohol can severely alter a person's perspective, which is why they want the citizens of Louisville to know if an officer was on drugs or alcohol at the time they commit violence. After a critical incident, the ordinance would require drug and alcohol testing be performed as soon as practical, after incidents that cause death or injury, and no later than the end of an officer's shift, and before any interviews are done. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after having sexual intercourse with a prostitute earlier this afternoon, local man Jacob Reynolds told reporters that he never expected the experience would bring him to new heights of emotional and spiritual fulfillment.
I was convinced that having sex with a complete stranger behind my wife's back would leave me feeling drained and empty on the inside, but my self-esteem is through the roof.
Reynolds, who said he paid $150 for a 30-minute block of time, said that his moderate expectations for the encounter were instantly surpassed by what turned out to be a deeply personal sexual communion that transported him to a new plane of emotional intimacy.
I've never felt a stronger sense of spiritual connection. When our bodies met, there was an immediate sense of familiarity and comfort that just washed over me. I think it was the most meaningful experience of my life.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And man, it's good to be back in Keene. It's good to be back here in the studio. Of course, we've been at Fork Fest for the last 2 weeks, other than Sunday and Monday, but I've been at Fork Fest up.
Apparently, some people are still there.
I don't know how you guys can do it. I mean, I couldn't handle but more than a couple of days.
Well, you got to pace yourself, Conan. You can't like stay out late every single night.
Well, I'm just talking about being out in the woods and just
it's not the real
sitting around
woods.
And
it's a campground.
I don't know.
There's bathrooms.
I grew up in the woods. I grew up camping. I grew up, doing all of that, and I don't miss any of it. I'm glad to be here with fresh running water.
Well, I mean, you're also antisocial.
A nice refrigerator, electricity, and the whole nine.
I'm also antisocial, but there was also refrigeration and running water and showers and a bed.
Well, you are not antisocial, otherwise you wouldn't go to this event. I mean, you have to be willing to interact with people.
I'm antisocial, but going to these events, I try to force myself to not be. So.
Okay. Well, you're willing to do what it takes to be social, and because these are ultimately very social events.
They are, and they're great. And I'm already looking forward to next year. But, I mean, this year has to end first, and it seems like Fork Fest is just Forever Fest now.
Yeah, there are people, like we were just, the Fork Fest Telegram chat, somebody said that there's still several people on the campground as of right now. So they're winding down whenever they feel like it, which is great.
Yeah, it is.
And I know Taryn Lupo is going to be there for the rest of the summertime. Like all the way through the end of the summer. He's staying there.
That's right. He's buying a property or something there.
Yeah, he bought, I guess, a trailer that's on the park or was owned by the park. Now they sold it to him. It's gonna take some work, apparently. It's a junky old trailer.
Yeah, still, I envy him for that. So nothing went back to normal while we were gone, unfortunately.
No,
I come back and things
still
are...
mask world.
Yeah.
If anything, it's worse than ever.
You think so?
I would tend to agree. I went to Walmart, I think, yesterday, and I think I was the only person in the entire store not wearing a mask.
Is that because there's been a bunch of fear-mongering about, oh my God, there's more infections, we need to press pause, as they've been saying across these different
This was definitely about 2 weeks before that surge that supposedly, especially Texas, was hit with pretty hard. Of course, everyone's going back to work. The hospitals are back open, and everyone's getting tested. What they're not discussing are the death rates and hospitalizations. Are those also going up? And the truth of the matter is, no, they're actually going down.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, everyone is getting tested, and guess what? It's what I've been saying this entire time.
A bunch of people have.
We've all got it. We've all got it. And if you take the PCR test and you amplify it enough times, I bet every one of us has corona in us. And it might not be this strain, but it could be from years ago. So yeah, if they want to find it, they're going to. And then you have to also be worried about how they are counting cases. Are you actually positive, or is it because you know somebody who's positive? You live in the same house with someone who's positive, because there are some communities who are counting those people as positive.
Wow.
Well, it's probably a safe assumption, right? If the virus is as contagious as we've been led to believe, then if you live in the house with someone who has it, you probably have it as well.
Yeah, but that needs to be a different stat. That you can't say that there has been 1,000 new cases in Texas when it's only really 50, but they've counted all of these roommates and all of these housemates and added them to the stat. That's a false stat. But yeah, the most important is, are the deaths going down? Yes, they are. Are hospitalizations going down? Yes, they are.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. As more people contract it, I mean, most people aren't 80 years old, and most people aren't going to die this year of something unrelated to COVID-19 anyway. So as more people get it, they don't fall into that particular group. They don't need to be hospitalized. They don't die, and their lives just sort of go on as normal.
But if you listen to the mainstream media, you would not have any idea that we are going to ever survive this, that we were all going to die one day unless we put these stupid masks on. And like I said before, before we got all this word about the surge, the inevitable surge. I saw on the Facebooks, on the face space, the lefties were coming out. And by the way, this is political now. This is absolutely political.
Yeah.
But they were coming out and they were like, I can't understand why all these people aren't just putting the masks on. I mean, why do they hate other human beings and whatnot? So this was going on, but this was somewhere, some news organization or some media source put this information out there, because I saw all the lefties jump on the bandwagon, posting their memes. There's a new one. I about threw the laptop out the door. One of my coworkers
Did the meme trigger you, Conan?
Yeah, be like the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian never takes off his mask. This is the way. Oh, I mean, I'm like, come on now. I mean, because I work with two individuals who are all over it. And they know that I am not all over it, but they've never actually discussed this with me in my presence. But they'll get home and they'll get on the face space.
That's how my life is as
well.
And
they'll put one evening they'll have like 5 pro masks memes, and I'm like, why can't you talk to me at work?
Yeah,
what's
very
going on here?
Passive aggressive
Exactly.
stuff they're posting, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, if you want to say any of this to me, that's fine. But I know what you're getting at here, and I don't approve.
Well,
we lost the mask war. We lost the war over masks. And the reason we lost it was because we made it about some great sacrifice that we were having to make by wearing the mask. Oh, it's uncomfortable. It makes breathing difficult. Well, that allowed the people who choose to wear the masks, that made them feel good and sanctimonious. They're making self-sacrifices for the benefit of all mankind.
It's their newfound virtue.
Sanctimony, well, we gave it to them. We handed it to them on a platter, and the more we complain about the discomfort and the breathing problems of wearing masks, the more sanctimonious they get to feel. because we're the ones making it a bad thing. Instead of just saying, no, I'm not wearing a mask because I don't want to wear a mask, we had to drag in all of these excuses that allowed them to feel like they were making some sort of great self-sacrifice by wearing one.
But they're not excuses. It's logic. The reason they won't talk to me at work is because they know that I could talk about it for the next 20 minutes about why you shouldn't wear a mask. They can't. They don't have any other. They don't have an opinion.
The reason why is irrelevant. It's not about should or shouldn't. It's about I don't want to. End of story.
Well, that should be what it's about, but most people don't have the wherewithal or the courage to try to make a statement like that when it's coming from a corporate policy, which is how most of this is happening. It's coming down from corporations who are telling their employees they have to wear them, and that usually means you have to, unless A, B, or whatever these options might be to get out of it. So you can't blame people who, for saying what it takes or what they believe that it takes to get out of this supposed mandate. If they feel like they have to give a reason, then they're going to cook up a reason for it. And it could be, I have a medical condition, and that's usually sufficient. I mean, I don't disagree with you that people should just be like, it's my face, it's my body, I can do what or not do to it what I want. And you're right, that should be enough. But for the average person, I mean, that probably wouldn't fly at your workplace, right?
No, I'm not referring so much to what people tell their employers, but what people are saying in person and on social media about why they're not wearing a mask.
Oh, okay. Just their own personal reasons to their friends.
Yeah, and it's always, it's uncomfortable, I have difficulty breathing, or sometimes it's just vanity, I don't like the way it looks or whatever. None of that is helping. I mean, just a simple, I'm not wearing one because I don't want to, is the end of it.
Well, but
they can't twist that into self-martyrdom.
Someone is going to ask why, and so it's not wrong to have a viewpoint on what your reason. Because
it's not wrong to, no, but it's
the supermajority
of their position.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's hurting them either. Like, the supermajority of people appear, at least by polling results, appear to support this crap.
Yeah.
So we live in a social world, right? Like, we have to get along with other people generally in order to sustain our lives. So you can understand why people aren't just trying to go out and insult the 9 out of 10 people that they encounter in their lives.
How would they be insulting them?
Well,
by just saying because it's my
these
face
people
and
are
my
afraid.
Choice.
Yeah, these people are afraid, and they're trying to at least plug into their belief system. It may be wrong, but it is what it is.
855-450-3733. Welcome back to Keen. This is Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. BTC miners give off a signal of intending to sell. Does this mean a bear cycle? New Zealand police seized $91 million from a Russian exchange operator. Anti-crypto SEC head stepping down, making Bitcoin ETFs more likely. And you can make money by referring people to exchange.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. The Monetary Evolution comes to Las Vegas. Crypto Vegas is a one-day event featuring some of the brightest and most innovative minds in blockchain technology. Juan Galt, Anastasia Sergeyevna, Lynn Ulbricht, Jim Bell, Elise Sam, Float CEO Kingsley Edwards, and more. Tickets start at $20.20, and you can save 10% on VIP tickets using code FTL at CryptoVegasConference.com. July 18th, join Free Talk Live at CryptoVegasConference.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight is Arya.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And this COVID-19 thing and the government's response to it has just turned the world upside down. Regardless of what you believe about it, it has changed our lives. But what has not changed is that if you own a business, you need to advertise to reach new customers or clients. Well, our audience is not the kind to stick their heads in the sand during a crisis. They are as fully engaged and more active than ever. Special advertising packages are available to you to help you not just recover but thrive. Email our sales manager, Matthew at freetalklive.com. That's Matthew at freetalklive.com. Now, before we get too deeply into everything that we haven't been getting deeply into over the last few weeks, let's go to the phones. We've got Christopher calling from North Carolina. Christopher, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you doing?
Hey, what's
Excellent.
on your mind?
Good. So my first point I want to make here, I hope that we can have an actual discussion about this without anyone getting cut off or angry or anything like that. I'm a firm libertarian in my beliefs as far as government is concerned, and I agree with 99% of what you guys say on the air.
Let's talk about the 1%.
What I have not heard, what I haven't heard from you guys throughout this whole debacle of COVID-19 is what the libertarian solution to COVID-19 is. Because I have to tell you that I am a physician, and I do see on a daily basis how COVID-19 is impacting patients, and it's not pretty. I personally know 3 people have died from it. My mother has not been able to leave her house in over 3 months now because she unfortunately has COPD and emphysema, which can be traced back to her smoking for 30 years, which again, she can't blame on anyone but herself, but nonetheless, she is high risk. And with that being said, other countries have pretty much defeated COVID-19 at this point. I'd point out that Switzerland and the U.S. both had the first confirmed case of COVID-19 on the same date, and Switzerland is now down to 0 cases. So what my question to you all is, instead of, kicking around the bucket and saying, that businesses should be able to do whatever they want. How do you actually solve it? Assuming that you agree with the vast majority of scientists and doctors who say that COVID-19 has killed over 130,000 people in America and is spreading like wildfire, regardless of your personal beliefs, how do you solve it? Because in the future, if we become a libertarian society, how are we going to solve things like pandemics if all we do is just say to hell with it and let everybody go on as they please? So that's my question.
Well, it's not a problem for libertarians to solve. I mean, if an individual has a problem that they need to solve, then they are free to solve that problem as they wish. But I have no responsibility for solving the problem that is a pandemic.
See, I completely disagree, though, because if you go out to let's just say you go out to a party and you interact with everyone and then you contract COVID-19 and then go into the grocery store, I feel like you have deliberately violated the non-aggression principle.
No, the virus violated the non-aggression principle.
But
not
you
me.
Contracted the virus knowing that you could have avoided it by not going into contact.
I'm not responsible for the behaviors of a virus, though.
But you are responsible for yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if you go out into public and you contract COVID-19 because you're out in public not wearing a mask and interacting with large groups of people, are you not responsible at all for contracting that virus?
No, the virus is responsible for me contracting that virus.
Oh, so you think the virus is a sentient being?
It doesn't have to be sentient to act in accordance with its biological programming.
The virus doesn't care. The virus doesn't care what your political beliefs are. The virus is going to interact with anybody.
This has nothing to do with political beliefs. It has to do with the virus doing what
you just again. I'm pointing out that it does not have anything to do with political beliefs. You're saying that you're not responsible if you go out into a large crowd and contract COVID-19. I'm saying you are because you know that you are much more likely to contract COVID-19 if you go out into a large crowd without a mask and then you go into the grocery store.
Well,
and
hold on. Let me interrupt you because that statement has been scientifically proven false. Masks do not protect the wearer.
Okay. Can you point out a single peer-reviewed study that shows that masks do not prevent the spread of COVID-19?
I didn't say they didn't prevent the spread. I said they do not protect the wearer from catching the virus.
I didn't say they prevent the. That is not what I said. I said it prevents the spread. So if you're not wearing one, again, and you go out and spread the disease that you contracted,
I have to catch the disease first,
to go
correct?
In public. Say again?
I have to catch the disease first, right?
Yes. And are you not more likely to catch the disease if you go into a bar crowded with people?
Are they wearing masks?
If they are, then you're less likely to catch the disease.
How long do you expect us to live in fear like this? You're suggesting that we wear masks forever because we're always getting sick.
Switzerland lived in fear like this for 3 months, and they have 0 cases.
Tell me these other countries who have kicked Corona, have beat it, who are testing like we are right now. Supposedly all of them have beat it except us. But how many of them are testing like we do?
Switzerland tested as much as we did, and they have beat it because
let me correct your falsehood right now. 70 people contracted COVID-19 in Switzerland yesterday.
And how many have died as of yesterday?
Well, death numbers in the United States are also down.
Okay, they're down, but how many people have died in America?
Well, supposedly,
how many?
I really don't care, Christopher. Here's what I want to know.
Care, and that's my whole problem. But thank you.
No. Please don't leave.
I got a question for you.
Okay, what's your question?
Okay, so you're saying that now everybody should have to wear masks in order to protect people in public, etc.
Nope, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm asking you what your better solution to the problem is to stop COVID-19.
To me, it's not a problem.
Yeah, Chris. That is the first. That's no.
30,000 people are dead.
Chris, the first thing you have the first thing you have to ask, and you keep bringing this up, is if it's even a problem. And I think the other two in the room believe that it is not, in fact, a problem, and it has been overhyped the whole time.
If there aren't people dying in the streets left and right, it's not a problem. It's not a pandemic. If you don't know, now you know people who died because, well, you're a doctor and you're kind of in that world. The rest of us, I don't think any of us know anyone who has died from this. I only know one person. I don't know
anyone who's even gotten it.
I know one person who's contracted it and he beat it. So look, it's clearly not a problem. Would you suggest that people ought to wear masks previous to this, like if you catch the common cold, or if you
No, absolutely not.
Would I be then responsible if I knowingly having the common cold or the flu went around and went to a convention and shook a bunch of people's hands? Should I be held responsible for any of them that got ill?
Did the common cold kill 130,000 people in America last year? In 3 months?
Did the flu? Because the flu certainly can.
In 3 months it did not.
Oh, so it's all about numbers. At some arbitrary point, if the numbers go high enough, you support tyranny. That's what it sounds like to me. To me, death is not the worst of all evils. I'd rather take my chances and have freedom. Thanks.
What do you think? Christopher, thank you so much for the call. Let us know what you think. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Yeah, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Well, now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses, which means you finally have a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You make it happen and you receive the rewards. Just download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. Again, that's anypayinc.com. Commissions are instant. There's no waiting for weeks or months or to hit a certain threshold or any of that crap. As soon as there is a sale for Bitcoin Cash or Dash, you get your commission. Again, check it out at anypayinc.com. Now, the world is moving along, but it's not returning to normal anytime soon. And we try to avoid, local news discussion here, but some of this dystopian, hellish, nightmarish crap in this press release from Keene State College just highlights everything that is wrong here. In particular, no handshaking or hugs.
No hugs.
It
This
lists.
is for students returning to the school or going to the school this fall, correct?
Yes. In addition to this, overarchingly, they're not going to get a fall break or a real Thanksgiving break. All of these breaks are getting skipped. Instead, the semester is going to end at Thanksgiving, and they're just not going to come back after that. Yeah.
Because the idea is if they go home, they could contact someone with COVID and bring it back to the school.
That seems to be the reasoning, yeah.
Wow. So they're going to be trapped at Keene State College, basically, for however many months that is, right? So like August through November, no going home allowed.
Oh, it doesn't specifically say that. But
it
does sort of implicitly say that.
They're not giving them any opportunities to go home, basically. You pretty much are encouraged to stay right where you are.
Very gently encouraged. No handshaking or hugs, though, is absolutely bizarre. How are they going to keep college students from dating is what I want to know.
Does that come up here later? Like, presumably if there's no handshaking or hugs, there probably should be no intercourse.
You would expect so, right? But this at least does not say no intercourse.
Oh, boy.
It goes on to say, remember that you can speak up if you see someone who is not being careful.
Snitching.
Karens and Randys.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. None of this stuff seems to be going away anytime soon. I mean, they found out that the people will comply. They found out that if you're scared enough, you'll put on your mask. You'll socially distance. You'll refrain from handshaking and hugging.
Or even if you're not scared, you'll do it because other people are doing it.
Yeah, and you're socially pressured into doing it.
Yep. And or you want to keep your job.
Yep.
Because you got bills. That's another group of people. And I wish, like, you walk into a grocery store and you see all of the employees, wearing. It's I hear a lot of people wanting to know which of these employees
really
aren't crazy.
Who really supports
exactly. So it's a good way to pick people up out of a lineup. And as Aria mentioned, being the only one in Walmart. I mean, it's getting we are on the losing end. It seems.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are for sure.
Now
I don't care because I don't do this for popularity.
Nope.
But yeah.
We've talked about what would it take to get me to wear a mask. How bad would it have to be? And I said, 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, that it would be when the grocery stores mandate it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have anywhere to buy food any longer.
Yep.
Right now, there are a couple stores here and there. You know, one of my feed stores that I usually shop at, can't get in there. I can't get into friggin' Harbor Freight of all the damn stores.
Wow.
Harbor Freight insists on it.
They
I
won't
can
let
understand
you in,
like
huh?
Michael's or some, you know, Hobby Lobby
What
or
happened
something.
when you tried to go in?
They'll give me. Oh, here's the thing. If they have their sign up, I won't frequent that at all. I won't go in there
What
at
does
all.
the sign say?
It just says all employees and all personnel, all employees and personnel as well as customers, please wear masks.
Please is not the same thing as required.
Maybe please isn't on there.
Well, a lot of the
I think it does say that it's required.
I've been to a lot of places that say they require a mask, and the only one that I've been to that actually required me to do it was a bank.
Yep, Citizens Bank.
Yeah, and I understand a lot of there's in a lot of situations you can just walk right up in there and do it. They might give you the evil eye and all, but if they have the sign up there, I am not giving them my business.
See, if the sign just says we request or please or something like that, then I will ignore that request. And I will
like
go in.
Aldi's here in Keene has a please wear the feel good masks.
Yeah, and they've cut back on the amount of like showing people they're doing things. I don't know, it was signaling, I guess you could say, right? Like, because a lot of this
signaling of some sort of virtue, perhaps.
Yeah, a lot of this is signaling that these companies are doing. It's whether or not they actually buy this crap is another question.
Yeah.
But they know that people are buying it, and that these scaredy Karens and these other, people who are frightened to death still want to go shopping, so they've got to make it sound like or look like they're doing something extra. They used to have a guy standing out front sanitizing carts.
Oh, that's not there anymore.
That's gone now from Aldi.
Good.
So you can just go up and grab a cart like you used to be able to do, and they do have sanitization materials available for those people who are wanting to be extra cautious, and that's where this should stop. For those people who want extra caution, then the tools are available for you. Either stay home, hire somebody to go out and do your shopping for you, because you can still do that,
there are grocery delivery services.
That's right. Or take a risk, put on a mask, and go out and get the shopping done. Or take another risk and just live your life like normal, like the 10% of us or whatever who are actually doing that. But sadly, we are in the minority, and of course, that's nothing new for libertarians. We're used to that.
Just live your life like you did all the way up until 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You never even thought about this nonsense until just now. And meanwhile, you got these, I see it all the time. You got the guys going for the smoke break, wearing their masks out of the building to go under the tree or to go to their smoke location, and they pull their mask down and they're smoking. And not to mention they're overweight, and they got their sodas, and they're chomping down on a big, greasy burger.
But
and it's
they're worried about getting COVID.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. If you're killing yourself, and here you are giving me the stink eye because I'm not wearing a mask because you're afraid I'm going to kill you. Meanwhile, you're doing all these other reckless things in your life. Come on, get your priorities straight. You got it all mixed. Up, and it's
it's a hell of a lot easier to put a mask on than to actually stop an addiction. I mean, that's way easier.
Yeah.
It makes it look like you're doing something.
And it makes them feel like they're doing something.
Well, it's a lot. You're right.
Insidious.
It's a lot easier to put that mask on than it is to put the cigarette down, because
I refuse to quit smoking cigarettes now, and it's because of peer pressure. I started smoking because of peer pressure, right? As almost every smoker did, and then everybody's like, "No, peer pressure is bad. You shouldn't give into it." Now everybody's trying to peer pressure me into quitting smoking. No, you're sending me mixed signals.
Full reverse, man.
I'm gonna resist your peer pressure now, and I'm gonna continue smoking. But thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
so,
it's frustrating.
In addition to this nonsense from Keene State, evidently people are feeling lonelier because of the coronavirus lockdowns, which isn't a surprise. Obviously. But people are locked in their homes, living vicariously through Facebook and Twitter. It's no surprise at all that they feel lonely.
There is a story about that, actually, from studyfinds.org out of London. It's well documented that loneliness is on the rise in recent years. The coronavirus pandemic has only added to the problem, leaving many across the globe struggling mentally. Perhaps no better proof is a recent survey of 2,000 British adults, which finds that 1 out of 4 feel like they have absolutely no friends nowadays. 1 out of 4 Britons say they have no friends. Moreover, 20% admit they have felt or they've never felt more isolated than over the past 3 months. Forget the virus, 10% say isolation is the hardest part of this entire pandemic.
Is there any other part of this pandemic than the isolation?
The fear, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. It's no surprise, though, to find that people are feeling lonely as they're locked in their house watching television, drinking wine, or doing whatever it is people do in the UK. 855-450-3733. More on this story because it gets way more fascinating. 855-450-FREE.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MacTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Federal authorities are currently on high alert in Washington, D.C., following reports that hundreds of crazed sociopaths infiltrated the congressional chambers this morning. Mary Canley, a Capitol employee who managed to escape the House chambers, described the troubling scene to reporters.
I saw all of them. About 400 to 500 completely deranged people just rambling on about guns, the military, and money.
Investigators say the lunatics, many of whom are believed to suffer from severe personality disorders, have locked themselves in the chambers for hours now, with no clear purpose or reasoning.
I looked at one of them right in the eyes, and it was like he was empty on the inside, devoid of any emotion or feeling. It was horrifying. It's only a matter of time before they do something that really hurts someone.
We believe these men to be manipulative and extremely dangerous. Luckily, they are also very disorganized, and there is a chance they may never be able to ever take any action at all. For more on this developing story, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And which is tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And we're talking now about the United Kingdom, the UK, and a study that has happened there showing that 1 in 4 adults are saying that they feel like they have absolutely no friends amidst this lockdown.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That almost approximately 25% of them are saying that they have no friends, absolutely no friends nowadays. 20% admit they've never felt more isolated than over the past 3 months. Why are so many people feeling, according to studyfinds.org, like they've lost their friends? 1 in 5 are a bit salty toward their pals because no one has reached out since the pandemic first began. Meanwhile, 14% are afraid they've lost some friends forever due to not being able to see them in person lately. The survey, commissioned by UK online banking company Santander, also shows that some people aren't letting the coronavirus get in the way of their social life. A full 10% admit to knowingly breaking lockdown rules to go and see other people. Why take such a risk? Loneliness, they claim. Now, 10% is about what, the number of people in the United States, at least, who are not interested in wearing masks are. So there may be similar numbers over there in Great Britain on that one. Quote, it's clear that during lockdown, many people have been affected by loneliness and isolation, said a commenter at Santander, saying, quote, it's heartbreaking to see the impact it has had on some people's lives and friendships. But hey, at least you didn't die because of COVID, right?
Yeah,
See,
you're
alone,
still alive. Lost your job. You're 6 months in debt now. You don't have any friends, but at least you survived.
You're sucking air. It's okay.
Take more pills.
I laugh, but I know that there are people who feel that way, and to me, that's just not a life worth living, man.
You mean that any life is better than death? Is that what you mean? That those people believe? Well, that certainly seemed to be what our caller was suggesting.
Yeah.
Well, what would you all do? How would you solve this problem? Well, I don't think it's a problem.
There's no problem. Pandemics happen, right?
Yeah, and there's very little that you could do about a real pandemic doing, real damage to people. I mean, if people were dropping like flies left and right, well, you'd have a reason to stay inside. But then so would everybody else, and all of a sudden you'd see those heroes that people keep talking about, like thank you, our heroes.
You mean the TikTok heroes?
Whoever, the grocery store workers, the police, these people that are the so-called essential workers. You better believe those people ain't showing up for work if people are actually dropping dead left and right. Then how are you going to get your food?
Yeah, I mean, that's really all you have to do to put this into perspective. This whole pandemic is look at all of the essential warriors out there who aren't dropping dead. Think about all the families, whole households. You might see one old grandma get sick in a household, but you don't see the entire household falling prey like bubonic plague. You don't see whole streets going down. You don't see whole hospitals going down or whole companies going down unless they shut themselves down. You just one, two, three here. A lot of it's, guess where? Nursing homes.
That's right.
That's where it's at.
That's where most of
just
the deaths
like
are happening.
Influenza every single year. I'm not saying this is influenza. I'm not saying it's any worse or less, but it's very, very similar.
It is, and I think the best example, to be honest, the mask people, the anti-gathering people, they needed us to die of this, right? Otherwise, they just look ridiculous. But here we all are, carrying on. I've been more publicly exposed to people since this coronavirus crap began than at any other time in my life. And here I am. Still carrying on.
Still ticking.
Haven't died yet. Haven't been sick yet. Maybe I'm asymptomatic, in which case you're still wrong for forcing the entire country into a lockdown because 99% of people are asymptomatic.
Well, according to the HWO, that they rescinded. They rescinded.
WHO, the World Health Organization.
Excuse me. They say that it's not that big of a deal. You're not going to spread it. Asymptomatic carriers.
Well, didn't they reverse on that?
They rescinded that very day, I believe, that afternoon, and changed it to, we don't really know what we're talking about.
That may be the most honest thing they've ever said.
We're going to backpedal on that and say that we really don't know what we're talking about.
We don't really know. Because of that, you should still be super cautious and live in fear, because we don't know.
Well, we're never going to know. And I don't care that I don't know. I think that's a lot of the problem here is that so many people require the certainty of knowing that we defeated coronavirus and they're protected from it.
Yeah, as long as their favorite celebrity, whoever doctor tells them to, or their favorite governor or whatever. But when it comes to that, Chris was talking about all these specialists out there who's saying that this is the way.
Chris, who?
No, Chris, the last caller.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, not all specialists out there are saying that this is the way. A lot of them are questioning it.
Well, I don't care what the specialists say, to be totally honest. I mean, I don't want to wear a mask and I don't want to change my life, and I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, I kind of like to know the stats. I mean, here's where I would wear a mask. When I drywall, when I'm sanding a wall,
Sure.
I like to wear a mask because I don't want that crap in me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm up in the attic working around with insulation, I wear not even a mask. I use a friggin'
N95.
Correct, because I don't want all that in my body because I know that there is actual stats to back it up that that's not something that I want to live with.
Right.
I want to be healthy. So yes, if I knew that I was actually sick with a real disease, I would take precautions. I wouldn't go out there and expose myself to other human beings. If I knew that I had something that could actually hurt people, yes, I would take all the opportunity that I could to prevent that from happening, from me from spreading and hitting other people. But guess what? I don't agree with it. I know that it's overhyped. I'm looking at the charts. I'm looking at the stats. I'm looking at the wave going down. I'm looking at the cases going up, but I'm also looking at hospitalization and deaths going down. I've been talking about this being overhyped the entire time because guess what? It's overhyped.
Yep. Well, I mean, the caller said that 130,000 Americans have died, right? What is that, 0.33%?
And half of them, and half of that, almost half of that, New York City, which is what? Very polluted. Why is Wuhan, Northern Italy, and New York? Why are these all the hot spots in this country, on the world? Because maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it has to do with the air quality in these places.
130,000 people into 330 million is approximately 4% of 1%.
Wow, so it's even less significant than I thought.
You have more of a chance of dying in a car accident on the way to the testing center.
Yeah, you do.
Really?
Yes, really.
I think so, yeah.
And I mean, that's a pretty low likelihood of occurrence by itself, right?
Car accidents are fairly common.
Well, sure, but the chances of a car accident happening to any particular individual is very low.
And that's the other thing. A car accident can happen to anybody. This nonsense is only really happening to people who are ill and who are elderly.
As far as death is
concerned.
Yeah.
Sure, and it's not that I want people who are ill or elderly to die, right? That's not my desire. But those people who are at risk should stay the hell at home.
Correct.
I don't know
Correct.
why this is so complicated to people.
I mean, those people would kind of...
If you want to protect your grandma, don't go around her until this is over. And I mean, that's got its own tragedy to it because grandma might die. And then you don't get to go...
She might die alone.
Yeah, and then you never went to go see her.
And guess what? That has happened in the last 3 months.
It has.
A whole lot of it.
Then you can't have a funeral for her because the entire government has locked down the United States. It's absurd. There's no winning here. This isn't a problem that can be solved. It's just a thing that has to run its course. And all of these silly machinations that the United States government is engaging in and state governments are engaging in to try to slow it, it's futile. It's going to run its course. And we see that right now. Yep. As soon as the lockdowns were eased in some places, cases of coronavirus spiked. Well, duh. Eventually, that's going to happen. You're going to have to lift the lockdowns.
They're going to keep kicking the can down the road, though. Now they're locking down further. They're using the extra numbers to excuse mandatory mask policies, which we heard about over the last few weeks in places like Washington State and also several other states. I was actually looking the other day. There's a huge list of states where there's masks that are mandatory at various different levels.
Pennsylvania.
That's one of them.
Yep, and you know what? This is the one thing they've been talking about the whole time, is second wave.
Mm-hmm.
And this surge, by the way, isn't the second wave. The second wave will come in the fall, winter, and it might be COVID-3 or whatever. It might be H1N1 5.
It might be the bubonic plague, evidently.
Well, that's a bacteria. It's not a virus, but yeah, it could be. It could be anything.
Pandemic, though. I mean, if it occurred on a large scale.
And they want it to happen too.
But yeah, this has all been inevitable, and it's inevitable no matter how far we push it. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,782, silver at $18.18, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,076. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the controversial rapper and entrepreneur Kanye West has stated in numerous interviews over the past few years that he's been preparing for a career in politics. But now he's taken it a bit further with a tweet announcing his intentions of running for president. It's not entirely clear if he plans on running for office this year, because it's extremely late in the campaign process and pretty much impossible to make a serious effort at this point. But his tweet did end with the hashtag 2020vision. In a Twitter post Saturday night, West sent out a tweet to his followers that read, quote, "We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States," end quote. That was followed by the hashtag. West has become extremely controversial in recent years due to his public support of Donald Trump. However, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian have used their influence with Trump to have multiple nonviolent offenders released from prison. It's not clear if West plans to run as a Democrat, Republican, or with a third party. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Now that infamous sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested and placed in custody, speculation is rife that she will soon begin naming names and exposing the grisly child molestation ring that she helped run for her former boyfriend and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Mind Unleashed reports that she is reportedly not expected to spill any details about Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, according to a confidant of Maxwell. Just following her surprise arrest last Thursday in a secluded rural retreat in New Hampshire by over 20 armed federal agents and police, the infamous 58-year-old socialite was placed in nearby Merrimack County Jail. She's expected to soon be transferred to New York before she arrives in court later this week. Cops in Louisville, Kentucky may soon be required to submit to a drug test if they become violent during a critical incident. In a first-of-its-kind proposal in the department, the Louisville Metro Council is pushing through an ordinance that will require police officers to submit to a drug and alcohol test if they shoot or hurt someone. The Free Thought Project reports that Democratic 6th District Council President David James is co-sponsoring the legislation, along with Councilwoman Barbara Sexton Smith, a Democrat from the 4th District. They point out how drugs and alcohol can severely alter a person's perspective, which is why they want the citizens of Louisville to know if an officer was on drugs or alcohol at the time they commit violence. After a critical incident, the ordinance would require drug and alcohol testing be performed as soon as practical, after incidents that cause death or injury, and no later than the end of an officer's shift, and before any interviews are done. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
In this week's Onion Tips section, 5 easy ways to adapt your deplorable and parasitic existence for the upcoming Armageddon. Tip 1. Focus on preparing your home for any number of disaster situations, which still probably won't take your mind off of your impending death or the myriad mistakes you made in your short, pitiful life. Tip 2. Make sure your linens are clean prior to the upcoming catastrophe, as these are likely the very same sheets on which you will soon be slowly asphyxiated. Tip 3. Take some time off work and spend your last days free from the bonds of the oppressive machine that was just about the only thing giving you a purpose to your otherwise insignificant days. Tip 4. Spend your final waking minutes before the end of the world with your family, knowing full well you'd rather be doing a number of other gratifying yet completely depraved things. Right, sicko? In other news, a smitten foot fetishist thinks these may be the two. A woman and her gay best friend go on another one of their little adventures, and a dead daughter would have wanted a $220 million liability settlement.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And we've been talking about the coronavirus, the response to it, and the isolation that people are feeling around the world, particularly according to the study in the United Kingdom. Well, not particularly. I imagine it's the same everywhere, but I've been thinking a little bit more about this, and it's kind of redundant. Living in isolation causes people to feel lonely. That's I'm surprised anyone did a study on this.
Well, and there's more, right? I mean, not just, I don't think they mentioned it in this study, but it's not hard to connect A to B and say, well, if you're more lonely than you've ever been, maybe you're going to behave in a more destructive way towards yourself than you ever have. If all you've got to do is sit around the house and think about how awful life has become, what are the odds that you're going to, if you already had a habit with alcohol, make it worse, or if you previously beat a drug habit, go back to it?
Yeah.
I'd say the odds are pretty good that there's going to be a lot of people falling off the wagon, so to speak, and picking up old bad habits that they might have worked hard to get rid of.
But don't worry, Ian, the liquor store is never closed.
That's right. It's essential.
You go in there anytime you want.
Yeah.
Well, the weed dispensaries have also not closed and have been...
Some states they were told to close.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear about
Well,
those.
didn't Florida shut down their bars last week?
They may have. I know that some states that had open bars have now reversed course and told the bars to close down. Other states who are planning on opening the bars have told the bars they're not allowed to open.
So, has His Excellency King Sununu weighed in on the possibility of reclosing New Hampshire?
I have not heard.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention. I just assumed that he won't because, I don't know. It's an election year.
He is being challenged in an election this year. In New Hampshire, it's every 2 years, unlike a lot of states where governors are in for 4 years. It is a 2-year term here. So he's got two primary opponents, actually. Our co-host, Nobody, and a woman named Karen.
Yeah. Neither of whom.
Well, he pissed off a lot of his followers.
He
this
did.
Year.
Well, yeah, Republicans.
But I don't know that they would. They don't want to lose their vote to someone named Karen.
I don't know.
I'll have to look her up and figure out what's going on.
Well, I'm no fan of Republicans, but I will say they at least oppose the lockdown by and large.
Not Sununu.
No, well,
he imposed the lockdown.
I'm aware. I was here for it.
Yeah.
But my point is that in a primary with actual people running against him, he has to be careful what he's going to do, or the Republicans will vote for someone else.
There is a chance that he will not make it through this primary. I'm not going to say there's a good chance.
I hope it's a good chance.
But, we'll see. Because the thing with the primary is usually the most political people come out to the primary.
Yeah.
Most of your average voters they couldn't tell you when the primary is. So it takes a lot of effort to try to get out the vote at a primary election. That's not going to be an easy thing for his opponents to pull off.
Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Bad Slave calling from New Hampshire. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
We got to turn you up a bit there. Go ahead.
All right, great. Well, you got a call from a doctor a little while back complaining that you didn't have the answer. He said he was 99.9% with you, but you need an answer for the COVID-19 problem. And,
right.
I think I have that answer. That you actually.
Well, what is the problem before you pose your answer?
The problem is in fact a weak immune system, and that's complicated by people with darker skin because it keeps from sun exposure to make vitamin D. I don't know if you realize that, but if you have a high melanin content in your skin, that came from areas of the world where there was way more sunlight than there are in a good portion of America, the northern parts.
Okay, moving along. What is your solution?
About?
I freaking have no idea. What is your solution to the problem?
Well, my solution is that every individual needs to take, first of all, responsibility for their own health. And there are some very inexpensive supplements for vitamin D and vitamin C and others, some zinc, maybe, magnesium. But
I mean, vitamins are generally good for people who want, expensive urine. But vitamin supplements don't really
that's not
do much
true.
to help the body.
I take vitamin D and I take vitamin C, and I'm of approaching
I do not
70
know.
years old here. I am of the nature of being on the verge of some of these comorbidity issues of diabetes and what have you. I mean, but I take these vitamins, and I believe that I contracted the the virus and had minor symptoms, and
But you didn't get tested for it.
Well, I was thinking about doing that,
but you didn't.
I chose not to because I think you're better off.
I tend to agree. I mean, if you go out and get tested for this,
exactly.
I mean, if you had symptoms and you survived them, then does it really matter whether you had COVID or not at that point?
Well, I really don't think so. But I mean, for my own information, I would like to be independently, anonymously tested.
Yeah, but you can't anonymously test, right? Aren't they going to report you?
I don't know.
Aren't they obligated to put you on some kind of list if they find you with COVID-19, and then these trace people start working on your case and find out where you've been? And
I'm not sure. I do know that I ended up with a new GP, general practitioner. Because they just changed over. I have a.
I don't think that really matters to our listeners.
Yeah,
that I'm connected.
So your solution, Bad Slave, is vitamin C, vitamin D, and individual responsibility. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for summing that up, Aria.
Thank you, Bad Slave, for the call. I'm not sure I agree. I've never heard any of examples of vitamin supplements actually being effective at doing anything. I mean, if you want vitamin C, drink some orange juice.
Well, he said build up your immune system.
Sure.
That is the best thing that we can all do to prevent this and to live just basically healthy lives in every other aspect.
The only way
locking us down in our homes and preventing us from going out and developing our herd community by shaking other people's hands and breathing on each other, and in the case of these Keene State students, maybe having relations with other human beings. But if you can't do any of this anymore,
maybe I should go to Keene State with a free hugs sign.
Well, you're getting kind of old, Ian. I don't think that'd work anymore. But no, I mean, build up your damn immunity. I mean, that is the key to this. And put the cigarette down. Put the soda down. Go get some sunlight. Go get some exercise.
I'm not a doctor, but isn't it true that the way you build your immunity or your immune system is you have to contract the thing and have the immune system fight it off first before you have an immunity?
Well, that's virus theory. That your body has to, that the virus has to, be in your body.
The immune system can't fight something it's never fought before.
Correct. So you want to get small doses of it at first, little doses here and there, and so your body can actually has a fighting chance to develop the antibodies.
I mean, we could also just develop, a strand of the virus that does not cause symptoms and just inject people with very small doses.
They've been trying to do that with influenza forever. And they still don't have
evolves every year.
Correct,
so.
and Corona does too. So guess what? This is going to be a never-ending story, and Fauci loves it because he's going to be raking it in.
I don't know if Fauci loves
Shop.freetalklive.com. You'll see links to Walmart, Love Java, Newegg, and more. Every day, Free Talk Live is at the forefront of the liberty movement as the biggest liberty-oriented talk show in the world, giving you a platform to be heard on any topic. Get listener-only specials without doing anything other than an extra click. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. Use the links and buy what you'd be buying anyway. Take action now. Save and support freedom. Visit shop.freetalklive.com. It's shop.freetalklive.com. News from news.bitcoin.com. BTC miners give off a signal of intending to sell. Does this mean a bear cycle? New Zealand police seized $91 million from a Russian exchange operator. Anti-crypto SEC head stepping down, making Bitcoin ETFs more likely. And you can make money by referring people to exchange.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Maxwell, he was a runaway to rescue, great disposition. About 9 years ago, he was scratching a lot, and he started losing some hair. My vet, she says, he must be allergic to the chicken. Another vet said, it's the grain. Third vet, she says it's the weather, something in the air. And then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. I had been listening to the Dynavite ads, hearing about different stories of different people, and it just clicked. I got my first 90-day supply, and it took a grand total of 2 weeks. And the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Dynavite is nutrition.
And Maxwell loves it. Now he's close to 10 And the Dynavite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
Dynavite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
And he's a spectacular dog.
DINOVITE.com.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Bitcoin.com now has a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com where you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted, which means you finally have a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Once more, that's local.bitcoin.com. It's the best place for you to acquire Bitcoin Cash, hands down, as long as you're not an idiot and give money to people who don't fund the escrow and that kind of thing. I mean, just use your common sense, local.bitcoin.com. Now, we've been talking about masks here, but before we get further into it, let's go to the phones. We've got Steve calling from Arkansas. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello.
How you guys doing today?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so, man, that last caller was something. So, here's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of going to my favorite restaurants, and I'll give you an example. The other night I wanted to go, it was about 7 o'clock. Want to go grab something to eat, walk in, I've got my mask because, you know, the king says I need it or whoever.
So masks are now required in Arkansas?
Yeah. If you want to dine in restaurants, yeah. You can, but here's the thing, you can take them off as soon as your drink gets to the table.
Okay.
As soon as your drinks get to the table, you can remove your masks because coronavirus knows that it can't spread.
Exactly.
So
my favorite one was the sign that said that a bike path was closed because of coronavirus and you had to instead walk on it. That was my favorite one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
if you're going over 5 miles an hour, you got a higher chance of getting it, I guess.
That seems to be the case.
So here's the deal. I go in and they say, well, our dining room is closed. You can eat on the patio. It's Arkansas.
It's 100 degrees out, right?
It's 100 degrees out with 90% humidity.
And mosquitoes.
I don't think I want to eat outside. So I go to another restaurant. I walk in. I'm like, I'm just going to sit at the bar, maybe order a pizza, have a few beers. Can't watch sports right now, but maybe there'll be something on the TV. There's 4 people sitting at the bar. Oh, sorry, the bar's full.
Now, how many seats were at the bar?
There is at least 16 seats at the bar.
Okay.
But it was full because you have to have X number of space between everyone.
The bar that I frequent here in Keene, I'm not going to name it, but they recently put additional tables back in. Now, when they first reopened, they removed some of the tables and put them out back, to social distance and all of that. Not that they limited the seating at the bar or anything like that, but, they seem to be going along. But now they've put all of the tables back out. They're back at 100% capacity.
So they're not going along. They're actually, what?
Well, I mean, there's no requirement that they remove the tables in the first place. They just did it because they thought it was, going to look good for them, I guess.
No, there was a requirement. I mean, at least if you believe that the orders are requirements.
I think that most restaurants did it because they didn't want to get some sort of backlash or have any liquor licenses revoked or anything like that. But I think the farther we get along into this, the more forward-thinking business owners that don't really give a piss what they're told are doing what they want to do.
I hope.
And those are the people I'm going to see, because I'm tired of something as simple as wanting to run into Taco Bell and grab something. Oh no, the lobby's closed. We're only doing drive-thru, and there's 15 cars. And by the way, you mentioned something about going to the bank the other day. Count your freaking lucky stars, because the banks are still closed here. You have to sit in the drive-thru
for a
to
half
do anything
hour
at the bank
at least.
If you want to sign loan papers, if you want to do anything, it's in the drive-thru, and all I'm trying to do is get changed for work, and I got to wait 45 minutes in line.
That's insane. Even when New Hampshire was, quote, locked down, the bank lobbies were open by appointment.
Not all of them, but
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so we have not opened our banks since the shutdown.
Yeah, a lot of people claim that some of the more red states have treated this all. Texas is a great example, but I mean,
Texas is as bad as California in the response to this.
It's all varied. Every different state has their own prohibitions, and they'll open something that one state won't, and then they'll prohibit something else entirely. It's like It's like every plantation is keeping it a little mixed up, so you really can't escape one plantation to go to a better one because they're all screwed up in their own special way.
Yep.
Now, we'll say this: Oklahoma is very relaxed, and I live on the border, so I can run to. It's only an hour and a half to Tulsa, or 3.5 hours to Oklahoma City. Some of those places are much more. You can just go in without a mask, whatever. But here in Arkansas, it's been a little more strict. Now, we're not as strict as some states.
Yeah.
But our governor did just sign an executive order making it okay for cities to mandate masks in public. And there's been a handful of cities, your Bentonvilles and Fayettevilles up around where Walmart headquarters is.
Yeah, one of the things that bothers me most about all of this, and I'm no constitutionalist, right? But the overstepping of power by the governors here in legislating masks across the state in the first place, but then going beyond that and saying the governor legislating the power of cities to impose their own prohibitions on the community. It's insane. None of this is how this was supposed to work.
Right. It's crazy. I'm just ready for it to be done with. And I've got, and the young people today, they just get indoctrinated so easily. I've got an 18-year-old son who lectured me and my wife the other day about not wearing masks. And I'm like, dude, I'm 42 years old. You turned 18 3 weeks ago. If you want to take this outside, we'll take it outside. But don't lecture me and make me, because I feel like that a lot of these people, like certain friends on Facebook, or they're always taking selfies. Do you have your mask on? No, I don't have my mask on. They're making themselves seem very sanctimonious, or much like the Black Lives Matter, like the white people that post about Black Lives Matter. They're just trying to make sure everyone knows that they're on the good side. That they're supporting what they need to support so that they don't get any backlash. And, the cancel culture will leave them alone. And, they're just complying. And
I don't know how true that is with Black Lives Matter because, if I recall correctly, it began largely on social media and it spread, and then it started protesting in the real world as a result of that.
No. And I'm not
about
saying
people
that
signaling.
white people. Yeah, I'm just talking about the people that are signaling about it and saying, "Look at me, I support this." When, like, dude, I went to school with you. No, you don't. So it's, and I know people can change and, evolve in their thoughts.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for the call. Keep us posted on, I didn't realize that things were that locked down in the South. I suppose because I escaped it, right? But they were red states that generally
that's your state, right? Or was?
Well, Georgia.
I briefly lived in Arkansas, but no, I'm from Mississippi.
Georgia was the supposed first state to, quote, reopen, so there may be differences among the southern states.
That's true as well. But still, they all share that sort of rebellious streak.
Do they?
In my experience. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And the next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. Divvy says in just a few taps, you'll be able to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds. Divvy says you'll be able to send money around the globe in only a swipe and instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. There's no need to wait, though, as Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, which allow anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. When the new wallet launches, because of Divvy's relationship with Western Union, Divvy will be in 200 countries, including the United States. You can learn more at divvyproject.org. That's DIVI project.org. And to the surprise of no one, hopefully, the lockdowns are causing people to feel isolated.
Mm-hmm.
According to this study coming out of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's about 1 out of 4 people say not only are they isolated, but they feel like they have no friends. They have 0 friends.
That is a more alarming result, yes.
Right. I suspect a larger number feels somewhat isolated, but they still think they have friends out there. This is the number of them, 1 out of 4 roughly, who say they don't have any friends left.
So, and they're basing this on the fact that their friends aren't texting them or calling them or messaging them or whatever.
Correct.
Can I offer them some advice? Message or text or call your friends.
It's true. The door swings both ways.
It does.
On that. So according to the study here done by Santander, which is a bank, before the pandemic started, 25% of respondents said they would often go days on end without speaking to anyone. So this is before the pandemic. So 1 out of 4.
Days without speaking to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Right. So fast forward to today, and now that number is up to 37% have recently experienced days in which they've had no contact with a single human being. So not surprisingly, 26% of surveyed adults admit they felt lonely at the time of the poll. On the bright side, 25% say that video calls have helped mitigate some of that loneliness, but those calls also have an unexpected after effect for some. 1 out of 10 agree that they often feel even more isolated after hanging up the video call.
The psychological damage being caused by this is going to last generations.
Yeah.
This is not something that's going to go away anytime soon. 37-something% of people not speaking to other human beings, not interacting with other human beings at all for days at a time.
Well,
I mean, that's the whole in prison type of activity right there. And we know that's psychologically damaging. And this is happening to evidently 37% of the population.
A very important question to ask is how many of these 1 out of 4 are going to actually outlast this period and not decide to take it to the next level. So you have the psychological damage. The people who do survive, they're going to be scarred. But then how many are actually even going to survive?
Also, what about the children? I mean, right?
Yeah, the children growing up in this are going to be messed up.
That's one of the, I think, my biggest concerns. I mean, it's one thing for those of us who've been able to experience life as normal, right, now going through this. the children who are being born during this and the preschool age kids that had no consciousness whatsoever of the way things normally were previously, these kids are going to be indoctrinated with this fear belief system, and it's going to be all over their world. It's going to be, as you just read, college students are being told they are not allowed to give hugs coming up in the fall semester. They're not allowed to shake hands. They're not allowed to give hugs. They're not allowed to leave the college to go home, or else they'll be quarantined when they return. So they're getting rid of all the breaks for the next semester. That's for the college students. How insane is it going to be for the children in elementary school? We just read, I think it was actually during our 2 weeks at the campground, there was a story about camp, like day camps during the summertime, and how different those are going to be now. They're going to still have them, but you'll only be able to be with a group of like 6 people, and you can't interact with any of the other kids at the day camp. Remember day camps down in Florida or wherever you grew up? Yeah, that stuff's not. It was kind of lame before. Now it's going to be really lame.
Oh yeah, you can play kickball with each other, but you can't pick the ball up. You can throw a ball at your buddy, but you just can't catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have your little play time where you go out and you sit on the,
Can't play tag though.
Can't play tag.
No.
Well,
you got to sit in your own little
You can
your
play
little
these
spots.
games with the members of your group, but your
Maybe.
group can't interact with other groups. According to the story that we covered, I mean, they were going to put kids into groups of like it didn't specify a number, but I imagine it's like 3 to 5.
Like,
Yeah, it was small.
Sounds like Lord of the Flies.
And those kids can play together all they want, but if they can't interact with members of these other groups, I mean, the sectarianism is like being bred into us at this point.
Well, I mean, this might be
Team Red's better than Team Blue.
If you start looking into transhumanism, this might be the step that is needed to take to make that leap.
How so?
Well, I mean, it's all about basically it's about uploading. Yeah, I mean, we are in a way isolating ourselves, going into our own little corner of the world and jacking in, and no more human contact, no more going out into the real world and dealing with life with reality. This might be a step into actually programming the new evolved human.
Robot sex bots or whatever also
exactly
coming soon. Perhaps one of the survey's most troubling stats is the revelation that over half of all respondents haven't tried to talk to anyone about how they've been feeling. Of course, they don't see anyone, so how could they talk to anyone? I guess they could do a video call, but some of those people just find it too hard to talk about what's bothering them with people. Others just don't want to worry their loved ones. How then are people coping? Close to half, 40%, have turned to comfort food, and 25% indulge in alcohol. I don't believe that number, 25%. That's way too low.
Especially in England.
Food and wine.
Yeah, when they say indulge in alcohol, what do they mean by that? According to the survey, older adults seem to have been hit the hardest by loneliness. Close to 75% of those adults surveyed over the age of 55 say they've struggled mentally during the pandemic. Despite this troubling statistic, 2/3 also admit they haven't tried to speak to anyone about how they're feeling.
Well, that would be a necessary first step, I would think. I mean, again,
to making things better?
Yeah, these people need to pick up their phones and have honest, open conversations with their friends. I mean, if people are really that miserable about this whole thing, why aren't they doing anything about it?
Is there any indication of what those numbers were before this?
Yep.
So it's one out of 4 now. What was it?
Oh God, no, I don't have that number. I'm sorry, Conan.
Because that would be interesting because I'm already one of those 1 of 4.
They did say that 25% of respondents before the pandemic said they would go days often without speaking to anyone. So
yeah,
that number is now up.
1 in 4 people were already going days without speaking to anyone.
That's correct.
How does anyone survive that?
Arya, that's my life.
Yes,
but I have so much to do.
And you sleep at 52 degrees during the middle of the New Hampshire winter. So I mean, we've seen how this isolation can affect.
I like saving money. What can I say? But no, I mean, some people. I'm not going to lose my mind over this study because I know there are lots of people out there who just kind of hermit-like. Mm-hmm. They just don't want. They're not antisocial. They're asocial. They just don't want to deal with going out and. They don't want to deal with the whole. It's a lot of work.
Well, with
That's
people
antisocial.
Yeah.
Antisocial is you hate people.
No, that's anti-human. Antisocial means you are anti-socializing.
Asocial is you don't want to put the effort in.
Mm-hmm.
You have a certain amount of energy, and you'd rather spend it on other things than going out and talking to people, which could be hard for some people.
It is.
You're saying an asocial person just doesn't care to go out and talk to others, whereas an antisocial person actively hates other people.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you that.
855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. What are your thoughts on this? Is there really a difference between asocialism and antisocialism? Are you being impacted? Do you feel lonely? Do you feel isolated? Are you turning to food or wine or liquor or whatever? Let us know how you're dealing with it. This is Free Talk Live.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have 2 convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our made in the USA microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part? Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Hey, Self-Reliance gardeners, now that you've got your crisis garden planted, the next step is to make sure all your vegetables are going to grow like crazy the rest of the summer. For that, you'll need an all-natural, full-spectrum plant that works to not only maximize nutritional uptake for you and your family, but is also guaranteed to make your fruits and vegetables actually taste better. The name of the product is ProtoGrow, a proprietary blend of bioactive superfoods for plants designed to produce rapid plant growth in record time. So much so that it almost forces plants to grow even under the worst light and soil conditions. It does this by combining powerful trace elements and micronutrients from seaweed extracts with a balanced blend of macronutrients from cold water fish. The result? Vegetables grow faster than ever because they now have the essential bioavailable nutrients they need. Go to growlikecrazy.com to learn more. Huge summer discounts now available. growlikecrazy.com.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And one of the few news items that we actually did talk about while we were at Forkfest for those 2 weeks was Blue Leaks, this massive trove of FBI and law enforcement documents that were hacked by Anonymous and released online. Well, in this report, let me go back a little bit. This story is from decrypt.co. It is about a report prepared by the FBI's Washington field office exposed in the 270 gigabyte Blue Leaks data dump that shows how the FBI has tracked dark web criminals laundering dirty Bitcoin by converting it into the privacy coin Monero. Now, it surprises me to find that one can even still make Bitcoin purchases on the dark web. I would have expected it all to have moved to Monero by this point.
No, they most of the darknet markets that I've seen in recent months still have Bitcoin as an option.
Do they also offer Monero?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
I would say most of them do, yeah.
That's good at least.
Yeah.
So the FBI document details 3 cases in which the Panamanian instant crypto exchange Morph token was, quote, likely used by bad actors to launder illicit origin Bitcoin by converting it into Monero. 2 of the darknet markets named include Apollon and Kryptonia. So the FBI is identifying the Bitcoin, and they're identifying the exchanges, but after that, they obviously they lose the trail because they don't know where the Monero is going after that. They use, sucks for them, right? But, I mean, they're working hard on it.
Screw you.
The IRS is trying to de-anonymize privacy coins like Monero and Zcash simultaneously.
They can try as hard as they want, and I hope that they fail.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be successful. And if they do, they'll just spawn new privacy coins that people will then turn to in this never-ending battle for privacy. That's about all there is to say about the Blue Leaks thing. I mean, it goes on and on for a while, but basically that's what it is. People are, selling.
They mad.
Yeah. People are selling drugs on the dark net for Bitcoin, and then they're doing a sensible thing and turning that Bitcoin into Monero. And I don't see a problem with it, but evidently the FBI does.
There are still exchanges that do exist that do not require identification in order to make an exchange. I'm trying to remember. I believe SideShift is one of them. And I'll check to see if they have Monero. I believe that they do.
Morph token is the one specifically stated here, based in Panama, where there are no regulations on cryptocurrency or evidently requirements about KYC in banking, because there are a lot of Americans trying to hide USD in Panama. So they're trying to, have their offshore accounts or whatever. And Panama seems to be a good place with that.
Oh, yep. SideShift does have Monero. Now, Sideshift.ai is, they're not an advertiser or anything like that. I've just heard good things about them. They do require you to not be in the United States in order to use the website, which is interesting.
So they require you to have a VPN service.
That's correct. Yeah, that will get you right around the restriction. But the funny thing is, when you go to the website, just normally, if you're not on a VPN and you're in the U.S., it'll say right up at the top of the page, access denied, and then you click on why, and it says you are blocked from certain countries, and it lists the list of countries that they block in this order: North Korea, United States, Iran, Belarus, and then several others. So they slapped the U.S. right in between North Korea and Iran, which I thought was really poignant.
That's a nice burn. Well, let's go to the phones. We've got Greg calling from New York. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I called in actually about one topic, but then you guys got me interested. Well, the topic I was going to call about is New York City and what's happening with the murders going up in the police, the homicides. And, I could make a joke about just stop counting the homicides and they'll go down, but
Sure.
I think it's interesting because the anti-crime unit of the NYPD was, I think, disbanded or canceled or something, defunded.
I thought they stood down. I thought they're not even coming to work.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, that sounds right.
Is it because they're upset they may be held accountable for their actions?
Well, that, and they don't want to get into any confrontation with crazy people, with protesters.
Why do you characterize the protesters as crazy people?
These particular protesters.
The ones who would fight with police?
The ones who are tearing statues down and who are throwing bricks through windows.
Is there statues?
They didn't put them up.
They're public property, aren't they?
Hey, I'm just calling them crazy. I didn't say...
I'm trying to figure out why you're calling them crazy.
Well, I mean, what about us crazy libertarians? There are a lot of crazy people out there.
I know why people call me crazy, though.
Well, anyone who would tear a statue down without at least having a conversation with the powers that be about how to take that statue down the right way, which there should be a right way. Like, we have a statue here in this town that I don't care much for.
What's the right way? I mean, throw a rope around the thing and give it a good old heave-ho, right? Isn't that the right way to do it?
If it was your property,
well,
yes.
Whose property is
but
it?
if it's all of our property, now you've got a different conversation.
A tragedy of the commons.
Yeah, exactly. So now you've got to you probably need to take it down completely and not put anything up, which is my vote.
So take it down. Well, why ask permission?
Well, this is all about living in a community with other people. Mm-hmm. If you start throwing bricks and splashing paint and throwing ropes up around statues and tearing something down that is important to someone else.
Hold on, because you're conflating different things here. Most of the protesters, even the ones who are tearing down statues, are not the same people putting bricks through property owners' windows.
A lot of the protesters who are still protesting.
If you listen to Fox News, sure.
I don't listen to Fox News. And I don't listen to the other outlets either.
You're also aware that the Black Lives Matter protests have continued through the last few weeks, but the media is no longer talking about it because the riots have in fact stopped, right? And it's no longer a newsworthy event.
There are still protests taking place.
Yeah, as numerous and as frequent as they were.
What are you seeing in New York? Because we're not seeing a whole lot here.
Right.
There's a Black Lives Matter protest this Saturday.
How big? Yeah, but how big was it?
Black Lives Matter.
It hasn't happened yet. It's this Saturday.
I'm not sure if it's Black Lives Matter, but I did see some troubling things where people took videos, and my friends posted on Facebook, where a crowd of people is just throwing bottles at police and everyone else, and just sort of like really angry, and the police cars are backing up, and I don't know.
Is this recent?
I don't have the context.
This is pretty fresh.
What's that?
Was the crowd throwing bottles at police pretty recent? When did that happen?
Yes, it was maybe a few days ago.
Okay, so things are still pretty hot and heavy there in the city.
And I want to be clear, I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't see any particular moral issue with the protesters throwing bottles at police.
Well, anyway, my point was, I think we could see a giant rift between conservative and libertarian, right-wing libertarians, because right-wing libertarians have always been on the side of like cop block and saying that some people have said they've been arming themselves against the police state and so on, men with guns. But I see the
the Boog Boys
almost did.
They're not the Boog Boys anymore. That's been dropped. They're finding some new title now. Maybe CNN.
Yeah, it was like what I've seen is the sides have switched again with the guys who used to say that, oh, the police, I hold all these guns because the government is going to come and I'm going to fight the government. Well, now they're saying we need our police. I think Janine Pirro on Fox even said, oh, these regular people can't defend themselves so much. We need the police.
So wait, who was saying, just to clarify, who are you saying was against the police is now for the police? Who?
So there's libertarians and then there's conservatives. And conservatives made the same sounds and noises as the libertarians always said, you don't need the police. There's a good guy with a gun is better.
No, I've never heard that from conservatives.
I've never heard that at all. And
conservatives
and it's the same with the military.
Are highly likely to support the police. Conservatives are highly likely to support the military. They love their government agents with guns. They love them.
Well, look, for example, when it comes
who do you
to
think
the
people
Bundy
with
ranch,
the thin blue line flags on their pickup trucks are? Do you think those are Democrats?
I doubt he sees very many pickup trucks in New York City.
Well, then on their Priuses or whatever it is that the people in New York drive.
Where do you see the thin blue lines in New York City? What kind of vehicles are they on there? I don't know. I've never noticed.
If that's even a thing.
Yeah, do you see that around, Greg, when you're driving around the city? Do you see the thin blue line sticker on other people's cars?
I don't, to be honest with you. I'm not. I don't see that. I don't pay attention to that. But I did hear from the last 6 years. I remember when Detroit was overrun, and the police chief of Detroit, was very much a gun rights guy. He said, "Everybody get armed because the police can't protect you."
Excellent point, Greg. And I have to agree. That's the number one reason a person should have a gun, is because the police, even if they're all good guys, they have to get to where you're at. Well, you're already there, and a lot of bad things can happen in that time frame. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarcho Vegas 2020 is a conference about changing the world through personal actualization and creation through markets. Get inspired to better yourself and better the world. Speakers include Jim Bell, Larkin Rose, Avens O'Brien, G. Edward Griffin, Walter Block, Amanda Rockwitz, Ernie Hancock, and more. Get your tickets for just $20.20 at anarchovegas.com and use code FTL to save 10% off VIP tickets. July 19th, join Free Talk Live for anarchovegas.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit divvyproject.org. divvyproject.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,782, silver at $18.18, and Bitcoin is trading around $9,076. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, the controversial rapper and entrepreneur Kanye West has stated in numerous interviews over the past few years that he's been preparing for a career in politics. But now he's taken it a bit further with a tweet announcing his intentions of running for president. It's not entirely clear if he plans on running for office this year, because it's extremely late in the campaign process and pretty much impossible to make a serious effort at this point. But his tweet did end with the hashtag 2020vision. In a Twitter post Saturday night, West sent out a tweet to his followers that read, quote, "We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States," end quote. That was followed by the hashtag. West has become extremely controversial in recent years due to his public support of Donald Trump. However, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian have used their influence with Trump to have multiple nonviolent offenders released from prison. It's not clear if West plans to run as a Democrat, Republican, or with a third party.
Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. Now that infamous sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested and placed in custody, speculation is rife that she will soon begin naming names and exposing the grisly child molestation ring that she helped run for her former boyfriend and convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Mind Unleashed reports that she is reportedly not expected to spill any details about Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, according to a confidant of Maxwell. Just following her surprise arrest last Thursday in a secluded rural retreat in New Hampshire by over 20 armed federal agents and police, the infamous 58-year-old socialite was placed in nearby Merrimack County Jail. She's expected to soon be transferred to New York before she arrives in court later this week. Cops in Louisville, Kentucky may soon be required to submit to a drug test if they become violent during a critical incident. In a first-of-its-kind proposal in the department, the Louisville Metro Council is pushing through an ordinance that will require police officers to submit to a drug and alcohol test if they shoot or hurt someone. The Free Thought Project reports that Democratic 6th District Council President David James is co-sponsoring the legislation, along with Councilwoman Barbara Sexton Smith, a Democrat from the 4th District. They point out how drugs and alcohol can severely alter a person's perspective, which is why they want the citizens of Louisville to know if an officer was on drugs or alcohol at the time they commit violence. After a critical incident, the ordinance would require drug and alcohol testing be performed as soon as practical, after incidents that cause death or injury, and no later than the end of an officer's shift, and before any interviews are done. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to a report released Monday, Americans currently lead the world in compressing big sandwiches into sufficiently biteable sizes, outranking countries such as Germany, Slovenia, and Ukraine in their sheer capacity to squeeze BLTs, meatball subs, and grinders into shapes that will easily and efficiently fit into their open mouths. Researchers pointed out that in series after series of tests, Americans consistently topped international rankings by implementing over 800 pounds per square inch of compressive force on sandwich categories as diverse as banh mi, croque monsieurs, or gyros, rarely hesitating for more than a moment before diving in and pushing the bread together and wedging it into their mouths.
Even in the cases in which Americans failed to sufficiently compress a sandwich and, say, dropped a stray piece of bacon or avocado, they still led the pack on quickly scooping up this topping with their hands and eating it, sometimes even inventively doing so with a stray potato chip or french fry.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in to talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And we've been talking about cryptocurrency, trying to get it off of the COVID conversation because, I mean, cryptocurrency is important. And there was just this massive data leak from law enforcement called Blue Leaks, which is surprisingly difficult to find. But among that stuff is details of like how the FBI tracks Bitcoin across the darknet and things of that nature. But more interestingly is the IRS attempting to de-anonymize privacy coins like Monero and Zcash.
And failing.
And well, failing so far, yes. And I imagine they're going to continue to fail simply because of how it's designed. And if they ever do find a way to do it, then the community will abandon those cryptocurrencies and will move on to something else.
Well, if they ever do find a way to do it, then that could de-anonymize thousands of, or hundreds or millions of, transactions that have happened in the past and could lead to criminal charges for various different people if they can figure out who they are.
That's true. And we don't want that.
No.
So 2020, this is coming to us from Forbes, and the reason I brought this article in is because it's surprisingly balanced and informative. 2012 has been a year with a lot of turmoil, but regulators' attempts to crack down on cryptocurrency has not slowed down whatsoever. People in Australia are receiving tax warning letters. The IRS is hiring consultants to crack down on cryptocurrency tax evasion.
Yeah, I got a threatening letter from them over my Coinbase account.
I have not.
Which I haven't had for 3 years.
A new listing posted on the government's official contracting website on June the 30th shows that the Criminal Investigation Division of the IRS is hiring private contractors to get more visibility into privacy coin transactions used in illicit activities. According to the request for information posted, the CID is looking for technological solutions that will help trace privacy coins, layer 2 off-chain protocol networks, things like the Lightning Network, and side chains.
Well, I bet there's probably plenty of companies out there who will take as much money as they can get from the federal government.
Chainalysis among them.
Right. I mean, they probably know that they can't crack Monero, but the government doesn't know that. So if the government comes to them and they're like, we'll give you a $20 million if you can help us try to crack Monero. And we'll be like, all right, well, we'll try. And then they keep, they try, and then they try real hard to crack this technology, and they fail. Well, they still get paid, right? Oh, I'm sorry, we couldn't crack it. We did our best, and where's our $20 million? I don't know. I imagine it could be pretty lucrative for a company that is willing to kind of like string the government along and make them think that they actually, have some sort of chance of doing something. I don't know.
That's not a bad business model, man. So privacy coins like Monero, Zcash, and Dash, I never really considered Dash a privacy coin, but
it does have a mixer technology built into it and has from an early point, but it's very, very weak privacy. It is essentially a Bitcoin mixer.
Well, according to Forbes, they allow execution of fully anonymous transactions, which wouldn't be the case if Dash is just basically using a mixer.
Yeah, that's all it is.
This in contrast to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which are not anonymous. Privacy coins achieve varying degrees of anonymity by obfuscating the transacted amount, while it addresses identity of both the sender and the receiver and the transaction trail. Full anonymity is sometimes abused for illegal activities such as tax evasion, money laundering, and other non-financial crimes. However, I used Monero extensively these last 2 weeks, just to buy food. Yeah, just to buy food, to buy trinkets, to buy whatever it is I wanted at the festival.
Yeah, not everything being purchased on Monero is illegal.
Yeah, some people just like the privacy and support the privacy.
And in fact, there would be no way to know what portion of Monero purchases are illegal. Because you can't observe them.
However, it is important to note that these functions are also used in perfectly legitimate activities as well. Anonymous donations to charity, individuals who simply want to transact anonymously, etc. And remember that cash also is an anonymous method of transacting used at scale every day.
Yep, that's the drug dealer's preference.
It is. Based on the RFI posted, which is their thing, but looking for help.
Request for information or request for inquiry. I forget.
The IRS will use software created by private contractors to obtain more information on suspicious activity, which, as you point out, is either all activity on the Monero network or none of the activity on the Monero network.
Yeah, if they can break one aspect of it, they can break the whole thing, right?
Right. And they have no way of knowing which transactions on the Monero network are suspicious and which ones are not. The deadline to respond is July the 14th, and private contractors are encouraged to submit bids through emails.
Well, let me say this. They would know For instance, if they busted a darknet website, which they do from time to time, they will take these sites down. They have some method of finding their hosting services, and that's how they went after the Silk Road and the dozens of sites that have existed and been taken down since then, many of them at the hands of law enforcement. So if they do come across a database of all the users on a given site, you may have thousands of usernames, of which some portion of them may be using Monero. So you could say, because of these databases, you could say, oh, well, such and such a username has this Monero address associated with that username. And they would know that that username had received Monero to that address from the site, and they would know that that username may have purchased, if the site has logs of what each user buys, they would know that that username may have made a purchase of illicit materials. But ultimately, that doesn't give them a whole lot to go on unless that individual was dumb enough to use, handle Aria de Mezzo or something like that, right? Like to put some sort of identifiable information in there. Then that could cause something as far as potential action, but that's more of a site security issue than it is a Monero problem.
Yeah, and ideally, a darknet market wouldn't be keeping track of what particular goods were being bought and sold to what users.
They wouldn't, but they still have to for some amount of time. So, for instance, some of the darknet markets will cleanse their log files after a certain number of times or a certain number of days after a transaction is completed. But for instance, if you're ordering a thing from, and there are legal items on darknets, but if you're ordering a thing from a vendor, then the vendor has to know who ordered the thing, right? Like they have to be able to, converse with that person, receive a message from them with an address in it, and they have to indicate that they have shipped the package to that person. That person needs to be able to log in at some point and see that the package has been shipped to know the status of the sale. So
it sounds like a blind escrow system similar to what is used at local.bitcoin.com could meet this same goal.
Well, I mean, it's blind in that you don't know who the users are, but they still have to have connections between users for at least the time frame surrounding the actual transaction. After that, some amount of days after that, you could have an automatic log wipe, but still, whenever the federal government comes in and raids the site, they are going to have the data at the bare minimum about the number of transactions that are in progress at that moment that the site was being raided. So there's really no way to avoid that, at least on a centralized system like that. Now, if you are to, for instance, go to a decentralized marketplace like an Open Bazaar, then that does change, how they can attack that system, because there is no centralized, data source that they can take down in the case of Open Bazaar.
Right. Well, hopefully they're not doing that. I mean, of course, we know that they are. I mean, the government hates freedom and it hates free markets. It hates
That's
everything
why it
that
hates
it can't
Monero.
control. Yeah.
Because at least with Bitcoin, they can look and they can watch and they can discern information from the blockchain, and they can chainalysis, which is analyze the blockchain. They can do all that, but not with Monero.
So the language of this RFI suggests that the information is gathered to specifically capture illicit activities and or test suspicious activity already reported by various agencies. That's pretty unclear itself. Also, speculators who trade privacy coins should report their gains and losses for tax purposes without being under the false impression that regulators will not know about that activity.
If you do it on an exchange, they will know.
Yes.
If you don't,
well, they will know that you...
They won't.
Yes, if you buy and sell on the exchange, they will know. Yeah, but don't be that person. 855-450-3733. Just don't be an idiot. This is Free Talk Live.
Maxwell, he was scratching and losing some hair. My vet, she says, oh, he must be allergic to chicken. Another vet said, eat the drain. Third vet said, it's the weather. Then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. It took 2 weeks, and the dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out. The Dynovite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
You get some Dynovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
News from news.bitcoin.com. BTC miners give off a signal of intending to sell. Does this mean a bear cycle? New Zealand police seize $91 million from a Russian exchange operator. Anti-crypto SEC head stepping down, making Bitcoin ETFs more likely. And you can make money by referring people to exchange.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people, but watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh yeah, sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
Yeah, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And communities can issue their own currency backed by Intercoin. They can choose to inflate the circulating supply to spend on internal projects, or they can choose to tax certain transactions and remove money from circulation. These activities deterministically change the exchange rate of the community's local money to Intercoin without affecting the other communities or the rest of the Intercoin ecosystem. Each community can choose its own policies and openly program them into their coins. Each individual can choose what coins to get and how to spend them with upfront knowledge of what they're getting into. Intercoin is attempting to regain some of our freedoms that are threatened on the internet and in the real world. And we think that's important here on Free Talk Live. So important that we accepted $40,000 worth of Intercoin tokens from Intercoin Inc. for advertising. If you also think freedom is important, check out intercoin.org. Again, intercoin.org. You can invest in this project and potentially make big gains, or just be involved and perhaps shape its future. That's intercoin.org. Now, Conan, you have a game to discuss, but before we get into it, let's go to the phones. We've got Bobby calling from Florida. Bobby, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Are you with us, Bobby?
Bobby?
Yep. Looks like he is out. Well, thank you anyway, Bobby, for the call. So, Conan, what have you been playing?
Well, have you ever seen that poll, 5 games that you played as a teenager that basically make you who you are today?
There's a poll?
They were that meaningful. It's kind of a meme. It's like, post your 5 games that made you who you are today. And I've separated mine. I have my teenage years, and then I have my young adult years, and then I have games that I'm playing currently, which in that list is very small. My young adult games, my list, I've compressed that down to 10 games that basically I played, and they were so meaningful. They had such an impact on me that I can say that I am who I am today because of these games.
Wow.
I don't think I can say that about any video game.
And I can do the same thing with music, and I could do the same thing with books that I've read and movies that I've watched. I mean, there are just things out there that I just really identified with.
I would agree in regards to music and books.
And or vice versa. They basically left an imprint on me. And so the way that I think is because of some of the music that I've read or listened to, or some of the books that I read, or some of the games that I've played. And this is one of them.
Okay, I got to say, I've never connected a video game with like having an influence like that, but maybe they have, and I just don't realize it.
Well, I did name myself after a song in a video game.
Yeah.
But whether the video game, the music in that video game certainly influenced me. A lot of it's just breathtakingly beautiful, and I would agree that music and books have played a huge role in who I am.
But you can't make the same connection with any of the games that you've played. What about Resident Evil? Isn't that your thing? Aren't you Miss Resident Evil?
No one else has ever called me that, so I guess not.
All right, this game.
But wait, hold on. Before you get I think this is an interesting.
We got good stuff.
This is an interesting discussion because, like, if you're a big fan of a game, does it really affect who you are, or is it just making it so like you like to wear certain costumes at Halloween and you wear video game T-shirts, or you sort of put the logos of that game on you in some way? Is it actually affecting?
Well, I guess in a way, if you're going to buy merch from your favorite producer and wear their game title, your game logo on your shirt, on your chest, well, I guess in a way it has affected the way that you think. But I don't wear other people's clothing. I buy from the thrift store. I don't really care what the logo is. You know how I dress. But I'm actually talking about the way that I form arguments, the way that I think about fantasy in general. The kind of, I like dark fantasy. And I can say that this game has probably helped me in that. I like high fantasy, like the Tolkien kind of stuff, but I'm thinking that this is more meaningful to me, this type of dark fantasy that I'm going to get into.
I'd like to point out that I think the reason that video games have not impacted me as far as my personal growth or anything like that is because by and large, video games don't contain a moral. Some do,
what do you mean?
But it's often a moral.
There's plots.
They don't have
there are plots, sure, but there's no great. You should be a good person. You should learn forgiveness.
Well, okay. I mean, they may not teach forgiveness in every game, but
whatever moral. And if they are in there, they're like Final Fantasy VII, where they're just so confusing and so obfuscated that they might as well not be there. But when you read something like Harry Potter, it's all about courage and friendship and the power of love. Or when you grow up listening to like Pink Floyd and A Perfect Circle and Tool and stuff, it's all about love and forgiveness and compassion. So these things have morals, similarly to Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. But as far as video games, I mean, there's no moral in Resident Evil 2. What is the moral there? Don't create a virus that turns the entire planet into zombies?
What about the games where you have to choose moral things or immoral things, where you can, like a game like Skyrim, for instance, one of these open massively...
Skyrim, the moral of Skyrim is that the best way to be effective is to steal everything that isn't nailed down.
Yes.
And to sneak around and shoot people in the back of the head with arrows.
Yeah, get your sneak up to 100 immediately.
You have the choice to go in an evil direction in those games, but you can also choose to not go in that direction. You can play a good character, so you can make moral choices.
But it's significantly less fun. to do that. It is. And I mean, people play video games for fun. So you have the fun dark path.
Yeah.
And you have the boring, oh boy, well, at least I feel good about myself.
Now you're
path.
a paladin. Well, and then there's other games where you're given some sort of there's like a certain branching event that happens in a more linear style game, but whether you're holding on to a character and you either let that person drop or you save them, right? Like there's these moral choices.
It's more of a choose your own adventure kind of thing where you just kind of.
I don't mean to say that they don't have moral options within video games, but as far as moral as it's used in literature, there's no like an Aesop fable, There's no,
not necessarily an overarching
you shouldn't
lesson.
be greedy or whatever.
I think there are some games that have that, though.
This game has that.
Okay, let's hear about what is it.
20 years old. 1999 is when this was produced.
Okay.
Black Isle Studios produced it. The name of the game is Planescape Torment. And it is
the same company made like Neverwinter Nights.
Correct.
And,
it's a very, very similar isometric top-down view based on the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition rule set. You play as
the worst rule set ever devised by humanity.
I have never gotten over Dungeons & Dragons magic system. I hate memorizing spells. I think it's stupid. I like mana.
Well, you could play a sorcerer.
Oh, not in this game. You can't. But yes, if you've ever played Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate, what's the other one? I can't.
Diablo.
Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale is what I was thinking. Correct.
Diablo was Blizzard.
You basically play. You usually have like a main character, and then you can gather companions, and you can add them to your ranks. In this game, there's up to 7 characters or companions that you can choose from. You can only have 5 at a time. You play the nameless one, who is an immortal, and every time he dies, he doesn't actually die. He comes back. He retains his scars and whatnot, but he's lost his memory. And so you start the game, of course, completely blank slate, tabula rasa. You don't know what's going on, and your whole goal in the first segment of the game is to find out who the hell you are. And you start to realize that you have lived many, many, many lifetimes, and every one of them is different.
Tell us more about this. Planescape Torment. In just a moment, this is Free Talk Live.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. The Monetary Evolution comes to Las Vegas. Crypto Vegas is a one-day event featuring some of the brightest and most innovative minds in blockchain technology. Juan Galt, Anastasia Sergeyevna, Lynn Ulbricht, Jim Bell, Elise Sam, Float CEO Kingsley Edwards, and more. Tickets start at $20.20, and you can save 10% on VIP tickets using code FTL at CryptoVegasConference.com. July 18th, join Free Talk Live at CryptoVegasConference.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And we just got into an interesting discussion about whether or not video games can shape a person and the number of video games with like moral overarching moral themes. And Conan, you say that Planescape Torment has all that, which isn't surprising coming from Black Owl. I mean, they've always been very heavily into story, character progression,
Yep.
good and evil, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you have an alignment system for sure. You know, you're chaotic, evil, good, neutral, the whole nine, and actually you are received differently according to your alignment.
Certainly.
It is incredibly heavily. This is one of the heaviest story-driven games that I've ever played. Where I mean, I've spent an entire hour just having a conversation and reading through all of the different, different
Now, is this
options.
recently or like when you were younger? You would do this.
I did beat the game in probably in 2000. And then I tried to play the game again, and I had difficulty getting it running properly. Now I'm playing the Steam Enhanced Edition, which has just fixed everything, and so I haven't had any issues at all. It's seamless. But yet, recently I've spent an hour basically having a conversation with someone.
Well,
and trying to figure out the best way to proceed, or just discovering. You know, it's like reading a damn book. I mean, it is that good. If you don't like reading, this is not for you. If you like nothing but action packed to get to the next zone, this is not for you. This is a story driven. It's not text based. I mean, but it's
that's weird to me, man. Because I grew up on these kind of games as well, and I didn't mind all of the text then. But one of the issues I had when I went back to the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, which was also made by Black Owl and similarly released on Steam, the text, reading through all of that text, I just could not force myself to do it.
Did they? One thing that I really liked about this Enhanced Edition is they enlarged the font, so you can actually read what's in front of you instead of, because it has been increased to widescreen, and so it's a lot prettier. But if you were reading the original font, I mean, you'd be up there with a magnifying glass. It would be very difficult. So the font has been increased. So it's yeah. If you don't like,
I don't know. I haven't tried it on my PC. I played it the mobile version that I bought from the Google Play Store, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same one that's on Steam now.
Yeah.
I just never actually got around to buying it.
Huge disclaimer. If you don't like reading, this is not the way.
I love reading.
This is a game. This is a game where you play the game the way you really do play the game the way you want to.
And I love reading,
and
but
you can
for
get
me,
out of and you
for
can
the
get
last
out of
10 years. Reading and video games have been entirely different activities.
Right.
There was a time when they were merged together, but for me, they've since taken their own paths. If I'm in the mood to read, I'm going to grab a book. If I'm in the mood to play a video game, I'm going to play a video game.
This is definitely a mixture of the two, and I appreciate the combination. It's satisfying. You get to see visuals, and they're magnificent. By the way, the art style is, I don't know. It's almost like Clive Barker / Dr. Seussian. It's just got this, everything has got points, and it's just wild. I mean, it's a wild atmosphere. And by the way, I just brought up Clive Barker because between this time, probably about 2010, I read and discovered one of my favorite books is Clive Barker's Magica. And now playing this game again, I realize the similarities. I'm thinking some of the developers, some of the the artists behind this game must have liked the book as well because nice similarities.
What brought you back to this game after 20 years? Why, did you just happen to see that they made a remake?
Well, I tried to play it a couple of years ago, but I couldn't get it to run as smoothly as I would have liked, so it wasn't fun.
You tried to play the original.
I still own the original. I tried to get it working on my Windows 10.
Yes, I can see why you did not have fun with this.
Well, now Steam, I'm not sure it is on Steam. And by the way, it's 50% off right now. You can get it for $10 if you wish to on Steam. I tried the enhanced version. I think I got it for like 80% off, so maybe $2 or $3. And I'm like, I'll get that. And then of course I loaded it up. Oh, wow, yeah, bringing it back. And the thing about nostalgia.
Well, hold on. Tell us more about it in a second. Let's go to the phones. We got Stephen from Ohio who wants to weigh in on this discussion. Stephen, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I was going to bring up the idea of video games kind of shaping a person and one's belief. Two of my favorite games growing up.
Are you in a restaurant?
I am not in a restaurant. If it is loud, I apologize. I can turn it down just a bit, but I have a terrible microphone.
Okay.
You're good, man. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, so two of my favorite games growing up were Red Faction for the PS2 and Half-Life 2 on the Xbox. And these were two games that had a strong narrative of resisting authority, if you're familiar with either of these games. There were oppressive regimes and bodies coming down upon people. And, I kind of had an impression early on that it was heroic for Gordon Freeman or, Parker from Red Faction to stand up against these kind of forces. So there are video games with kind of, libertarian undertones that aren't really talked about much. But also the idea of like a moral, like in this, traditional way. There's one example that pops out to me, and that's Grim Fandango, if you've ever heard of that game.
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it. Wasn't that LucasArts?
Yeah, never played it.
Yeah, it was a game where basically this guy, his name is Manny, he dies, and there's like a limbo world between our world and the afterlife. And he basically has to sell travel packages for people to get to the afterlife so he can go to eternal rest. And one line that kind of sticks out at the end is like, the whole point of the game actually is to kind of make you not fear death so much because of what, what he's going through. And at the end, he says this line that's still kind of poetic to me, which is nobody knows what's going to happen at the end of the line. So just, kind of enjoy the trip,
Good advice.
I love that.
I'm disappointed in myself because I've always been a fan of the Ultima series, and they were the ones who invented morality systems in video games. And I've just completely been sitting here talking about how video games lack this sort of thing when they developed an entire gaming legacy that is built on morality systems.
Yeah, maybe we just don't give games enough credit, even though they have over the last 2 decades surpassed Hollywood movies as far as their budgets and the amount of money that they are able to make. I think it's the amount of money they're able to make. I don't know if all of their budgets are larger than Hollywood films, but they're big monies behind this game. Big development times, big teams. I mean, we're talking about the larger titles. Obviously, there are still small titles done by small groups, if even individuals, but just talking about the money that these guys pull in, and they are writing really, good stories these days, right? Like a lot of games now are less about gameplay and even more about the story. It seems like there's been almost a shift over the years in more story being involved in games than ever before. I mean, if you go back to the 1980s with the Nintendo Entertainment System, or further back with the Atari 2600, I mean, you literally had little blocks on the screen. There was no real story of which to speak to go along with those games. But nowadays there are very, very detailed characters and environments, and almost to the point of photorealism. I don't know if you've seen any of the tech demos coming out for PlayStation 5. I
just saw that one.
You're referring to the Unreal Engine or whichever one it is?
Yeah, and what makes it exciting is, like, this is what the full motion video kind of games of the early 90s wanted to be, right? And it's like we're getting to such a point where we can get what we wanted, back then, when they were putting out things like Night Trap or Sewer Shark, and we're getting what they were trying to do. But what makes me upset is video games, despite the fact that they are bringing in more money than Hollywood movies and the budgets are almost as big, are still not taken as seriously, right? People that sit around and play video games are looked at as more of a loser than somebody that sits around and watch movies.
I don't know that that's the case any longer. I think that was maybe the case 15 years ago, but I'm thinking a lot of us.
Mainstream
I mean, what's the average gamer age? Is like 40 now?
Probably 40.
I don't know about
35.
the average gamer age, but just about everyone I know plays video games at least occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who continues to look at me like, oh, you're a gamer?
I know, right? It's cool to be a nerd these days.
Well, I mean, they're not nerds. I mean, a lot of these are playing like Call of Duty and other, bro frat games like Madden and crap like that. This is Free Talk Live.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
Today, many of us are paying attention to our health, and what we eat plays an important role. But so often the water we drink is a mere afterthought when it should be a primary part of our daily nutrition. Real Water would like to change how you think about the water you drink and how it can play an important role in helping your body restore balance and reach its full potential. The key benefits of every bottle of Real Water are stabilized net ions, balanced pH, detoxification, and it hydrates you like never before. And yes, it tastes great. Real Water is beyond alkalinity, and due to its proprietary process called E2 technology, it's the only drinking water on the market that can maintain a stable negative ionization, which means real science in every bottle. Order your Real Water today and take advantage of special pricing for this audience only by calling 1-855-REAL-WTR or visiting buyrealwaternow.com. That's 1-855-REAL-WTR or buyrealwaternow.com. Order now, 1-855-REAL-WTR or buyrealwaternow.com.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MacTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That toll-free number is 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria.
It's Ian.
And Conan.
And I want to say thank you to CleoCat, who is tonight's amplifier, a gold level amplifier, which means that CleoCat chooses to give $10 per month to the AMP program. Of course, we don't require that. You can find out more information about it at amp.freetalklive.com. To join it, all we ask is $5 per month, and we use that money to advertise, market, and promote. Free Talk Live hits his name. That's amp.freetalklive.com to find out more about it. You get a number of cool little perks like an AMP-only call-in line, an AMP-only chat on Discord. There's an AMP-only Facebook group. It's pretty cool. And again, we use it strictly to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. So if you like the show, if you want to help us get on more radio stations, to get out there for more ears, for more people to listen to, then sign up for the AMP program. CleoCat, thank you so much for your contributions, and we hope you continue amplifying the show as long as it's there. That's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones. We've got, what's the frequency? Kenneth calling from Colorado. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I was just calling to let you know that I stopped wearing the mask at Costco, and you can too. I don't know, you guys don't have a Costco around there, but we do here in Colorado, and they're pretty much all around the country. They're one of the few places that requires a mask. In fact, none of the places I usually go require a mask around here. And I went, the gal at the door gave me a bunch of trouble about.
You're breaking up a bit.
Man. I wanted to hear the story.
Kenneth, you still there?
He's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. He's back. Are you there? And he's gone.
He's gone. Well, thank you.
I'm here.
Oh, he's there. Okay, so you were saying they gave you a hard time on the way in, and then we lost everything else.
Yeah, they gave me a hard time, and I said, well, I'm not wearing it. It doesn't work. And then I just walked past gal, and she chased me down, and the manager said, well, we got to wait.
You're breaking up so badly.
We tried.
We tried, man. I wish we could have heard your story.
Terrible connections tonight.
It sounds like he stopped too to actually talk.
It's unfortunate.
I gotta say, I wish that when asked this question about video games, like, which ones had an impact on you in some sort of meaningful moral way, I wish that I could just be like, boom, this one game, because I've played.
Sit down and, first of all, cut it up into segments. So I did my teenage years, and then I did my young adult years where I'm actually paying taxes and stuff and working for a living. And now I have this kind of whatever I'm playing these days, which is a very small list, by the way, because I'm just not really, everything's been done under the sun, and I'm not really. I'm not really amused any longer.
That's an excuse that, quote, creators use in order to avoid being creative. Humanity's barely been making art for 10,000 years. We're supposed to exist for billions of more years. Can you imagine how bleak those billions of years would be?
That's why we only live for 100 years.
But Harry Potter just came out. That was new. That was original. That was fresh. There's new rock music.
It's fresh to you.
They say there are no new ideas.
There is no new ideas.
Yes, lazy people looking for excuses to rehash the next Madden game.
I'm not talking about publishers. I'm talking about my opinion. I'm starting to see.
And I'm telling you,
they're all just the hero
I'm starting
story.
to see repeats. Arya, you're what, 10, 15 years younger than me? Trust me, you'll get to me.
You'll get to my age,
and you'll be like,
over,
I've seen it.
They do all largely share the same theme, but it would be disingenuous to pretend that Harry Potter and the Hercules stories are the same story.
Well, I never said that, but I mean they do. There's always
Harry Potter's not the first warlock or the first wizard or whatever.
He's not the. He's what? He was the chosen one, unless you go with another theory. Destined to fix all of the ills, all the problems in not Hogwarts, but the England, at least England, where they're at. That's been done before. You got to save your character, a messiah who
you can extrapolate it until it's as general as it can be and say, look, there's no difference between Harry Potter and the new X-Men movie, right? But when we're talking about specific creative things, you can't just go, oh, well, it's about a character who does a thing, therefore every movie is exactly the same. Because it has a character and the character did a thing.
Which is why I bring this game up, because it is so bizarre, and it doesn't follow the same high fantasy tropes where you got elves and magic and, you got a ring. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got bizarre creatures, you've got demons, and you've got deities, you've got succubi, you have this weird environment. You have a whole it's built on planes, so you have more than one like parallel worlds, and they're all connected at this this hub, which is the city of Sigil. So this is just strange ideas that I don't see. This doesn't get repeated a whole lot. For whatever reason.
No, but it was done by Dungeons & Dragons as early as the first edition.
Well, they use the rule set.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get into the story, now you're starting to see some strange oddities. It's like, wow, I've never seen this before. I can see that you have your main character who's going to save the day. He's going to be the hero or the anti-hero. But it's the setting. And I think that's where this game really shines. It's something different. It's something new and fresh. And I'm really sad that I don't see more of it. This is a 20-year-old game, and I just haven't really seen this repeated. They haven't even tried to remake it or anything. Well, actually, they did. The Tides of Numeria is the next Torment, which was a crowdfunded game that just came out a couple years ago.
Well, what would you say is the distinction between this dark fantasy of Planescape and the dark fantasy of like the Witcher series?
Witcher series is based on our mythology, or not our not United States mythology, but Scandinavian mythology. So it's ideas that you've already heard before. If you read the first two short stories of The Witcher, he's pulling all kinds of what's the Aesop's fables? Not Aesop's fables. No, who are the other guys? The Grimm's brothers. Mm-hmm. He's just tearing those fairy tales apart. It's like, I know this story.
Well, that's
you're totally ripping this off.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, for instance, a game that I enjoyed in the last decade was Red Dead Redemption, a not first person, but single player game that was out for all the major game systems, the PC, and it basically takes all of the Western tropes and plot points and exciting scenes, and it just cobbles them all together into what is purportedly an original story. But as you're playing the game, and I'm by no means am I a Western fanatic, but I do enjoy some Westerns, and I have seen a number of them over the years. And as I played that game, I'm like, oh, this is like that scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or this is like that scene from this other Clint Eastwood movie or whatever.
Yeah, nostalgia is powerful, man.
And it wasn't so much like that I liked it because it was nostalgic. I would have liked it had I not enjoyed, or had I not been aware of it, the source material. But because I was aware of the source material, I was able to pick it out.
It helped it. The light bulb was constantly going. I was like, oh, I made the connection. It's like Easter eggs.
And say, oh, well, this is fun because I can play the movie that I enjoyed as a kid or whatever. Now I am actually in this game, in this scene that is markedly similar to the actual film that I watched. And so they've managed to make it so you can now play in some of these classic scenes in a way. And that's kind of cool, but it's not original necessarily.
And I'm wondering how many of these kids who haven't seen those spaghetti westerns like we did, or even further back, who made the same connection, or they thought, like Arya, that she was experiencing this for the first time. Like, this has never been done before. And in actuality, it's been done 100 times.
I can give you one video game where what it's done had never been done before, and I would recommend you try it. Dragon Age 2.
What has not been done before?
I couldn't get past the first hour. Tell me about it.
Well, you have to. It is the first. It is the first actual role-playing game that has ever been made. It's not about building up stats. It has all of that. It has all of those gameplay mechanics. But it's about, you're not a chosen one. You're not a hero. You're just some character thrust in this crappy situation trying to do the best you can as the world sort of melts around you. And people hated that about Dragon Age 2 so much that when its sequel released, Dragon Age Inquisition, they made you literally the chosen one, the herald of Andraste, right? They went full reverse because people hated it. They wanted to be another hero saving another world from another big bad guy.
It's fulfilling to be the savior, to be the Messiah.
It is, but Dragon Age 2 is markedly different.
That's why it's hard for me to play role-playing games anymore. Not only because the time invested is always so high. I mean, they're just long games, but just because they're all so similar. It's like, oh, you're the young teenage boy coming of age, and here you are saving the world from another, evil thing, some sort of evil force or evil man imbued with an evil force or whatever. And it's just like, what are they going to do that's different this time?
Well, in this game,
nothing. The answer is nothing.
In this game, you play an immortal. And you can't die.
All right.
And in some instances, you actually want to die in order to move the game forward.
Name the game again?
Planescape Torment, the Enhanced Edition. You get it $10 right now on Steam. It's text. You got to read a lot. If you don't like text, do not go.
Yeah, that's where you lost me. But anyway, thanks for listening. Head on over to the archive to check out. Head on over to the website to check out the archives going back more than 10 years. You can find all of that at freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally